Now, before class is over, I want to remind you that we will have our test on this unit next Wednesday. This test will be based on the work of the past 6 weeks.
Next Wednesday?
I would advise you to pay attention to Silas Marner, Julius Caesar, and the Idols of the King. It will be an essay-type test. There's the bell. Fred, could I see you a moment, please? You looked a little startled when I mentioned the test for next week, Fred.
No, I was just thinking about how much work I have to do between now and Wednesday.
You shouldn't have too much to do. You've been keeping up with your work. Notes are in pretty good shape, aren't they?
No, I hope so.
I can tell by your contributions in class that you've been understanding the material as we've gone along, haven't you?
Yes, it's plain as day when you're talking about it in class.
That's what makes me concerned about the difficulty you've had with the last test. Do you have any idea why you're having trouble with the test?
Gee, I don't know. I clutch or something.
That's what I thought. I can remember having the same trouble when I was in high school. But I think I know what caused it. Suppose I tell you how I think you're probably going about preparing for a test.
The human body is like a machine, a highly complicated machine to be sure. And like most highly complicated machinery, it seems to have an endless number of parts. Motors, gears, levers. Of course, any machine must have a source of power. In the human machine, it's right up here, in the brain. The power it generates is called nerve energy, or life force. In our human machine, this life force is directed by the brain through tiny cables called nerves to every tissue and organ.
There were no other people there, but Charles was never lonely, because all around him were his friends, who made sounds like these.
Can you picture this boy? What work does he do? Who are his friends?
Stithis, spawned from a nuclear hell, it forages for food to survive.
What happened? I don't know, but I don't want to be sitting without power when that thing finishes the job.
Now what picture do you see?
When the test is first announced, you go home and get ready to do some reviewing. If what you need to review is in the textbook, you open your textbook, read for a few minutes, and then you close the book. You get restless and decide to postpone it for a while. After all, there's still a lot of time, you say. Day after day, you worry about the test, but you don't do anything to prepare for it. Until the night just before the test. Then you try to cram all of the facts into your head in one frantic study session. By the time you arrive in class for the examination, you're worn out because you've been up half the night cramming. You're tense and nervous, unsure of yourself.
When our human machine is well supplied with this power, it's a wonder to behold. The uninterrupted flow of this life force keeps us living a normal, healthy, happy life. The nerve network keeps every part of the mechanism working perfectly. It controls our body temperature, raising it if necessary to throw off poison to the system. It controls the bodily processes of elimination and digestion. And most important, it regulates the beat of our heart, maintaining a constant control on the circulation of the blood. Allows it to do its part in the healing processes.
When the tests are passed out, you start writing your answers without really analyzing the questions. You just want to write everything down before you forget it. Of course you don't do as well as you should. And the grade you receive isn't a good indication of how much you know or of your ability to understand the subject. Am I right, Fred?
That's about it. But I'm not going to wait around at the last minute to start reviewing for this test.
That's good, Fred. Now, let me tell you some things that will help you get ready for and take any test.
In January 1950, Colonel Stapp entered a special sled, ready to ride the rails to a split-second stop, copying an airplane crash landing. The 4-rocket sled, controlled from a nearby station, is exploded down the tracks at 150 miles an hour. The Colonel reacts as the sled is braked to a sudden dead halt. From the outside, watch the breakneck stop. Shaking off the effects of the rapid deceleration, he has come through unharmed, learning important safety lessons, already eager for more and faster rides. In June 1954, 6 rockets meant added power and a chance for Colonel Stapp to determine the shock jet pilots undergo when bailing out. Securely strapped in, he is catapulted down the track at 421 miles an hour, his face reflecting the terrible strain. Water brakes check the sled's speed in an instant. End of the line, and the Colonel, cheating death again, says he's fine.
Maybe tests aren't popular, but they are necessary and justified. They help you to sum up what you have learned, and they let you know how well you're doing. They also help your teacher to know how good a job she's doing, whether she's getting the information across to you.
These are the boys and girls in my class. Like the pupils in your class, some are better students than others, and some have better methods of studying. John is a little slow in getting his work done, but he tries hard and stays with it, and surprises me with how much he's learned. It's organized, but somehow she completes her assignments, although I think she could get more out of her work with better planning. Bill, on the other hand, takes time to think about his work and to plan it carefully. But sometimes he loses interest and fails to finish.
Just about everything Fred does is by habit, even the way he sleeps. Now, some of his habits help him. Some of them don't. See what I mean? Let's have a look downstairs. Would you look at that? Breakfast table's even been set the night before. Hat on the chair, letters to be mailed, all there, right by the front door, and the umbrella, in case it rains. Mighty orderly, I'd say. Uh-oh, what's this? Somebody forgot to put away the vacuum. Oh, well. Say, Fred's supposed to be at work by 8:30. Shouldn't he be up by now? Day in, day out, the routine never varies.
If you have any time left, check your answers and make sure you have answered every question to the best of your ability. A test is valuable to you and your teacher only when it reflects your knowledge of the material covered. It should be a true measure of your knowledge of the subject, not your nervousness.
Somehow there just isn't time for much more than a fast cup of coffee. You know, Fred's got some good health habits. He always brushes his teeth after meals. Then he's on his way. Hold it. He forgot something. Let's take a quick look at Fred's day up till now.
I am the morning toothbrush.
And I am the evening toothbrush.
I hope that Judy will brush her teeth before she leaves for school.
Here she comes now.
Judy has beautiful teeth. I hope she takes good care of them.
Oh, I do, too. But think of the boys and girls we saw in Dr. Jones' office before he gave us to Judy. Surely, you remember that little boy. Don't you remember that little boy who came in with one of his big back teeth broken? He told Dr. Jones he had cracked a nut with his teeth. And then there was that little girl who came in to see Dr. Jones. One of her front teeth had been broken. This was caused by children being forgetful and careless and not helping one another keep safety rules.
Sugar and candy and gum and many foods. In your mouth, that sugar changes to a kind of acid, and that may cause your teeth to decay.
I didn't know that pop and gum and candy could hurt my teeth.
Well, most people don't know it. But sweets can harm the teeth of almost anyone. That's because most sweets have refined sugar in them.
Is that the kind we have at home?
That's right. It's the kind you put on cereals to sweeten them. Dan, I'm going to tell you some things I think your mother ought to hear. Miss Taylor, will you ask Mrs. Adams to step in here for a minute, please?
Yes, Doctor.
Almost everybody likes to watch animals whose instincts and intelligence are sometimes remarkable. Take this mother hippopotamus and her young son, Sebastian, who's just learning to swim and is sticking close to Mom. At birth, Sebastian weighed about 70 pounds. Mother weighs 3 tons. But despite the hippo's tremendous size, it's a very timid animal. It just likes to swim, dive, and eat plants. Mother carefully watches Sebastian, and the hippo's shy manner can change to ferocious anger if anything endangers her son. Here's a 6-year-old cow named Toots, who has displayed amazing intelligence in figuring how to keep herself from getting thirsty on a farm where no pond is handy. With her horn operating the pump handle, Toots has developed just the right rhythm. Up, down, over, and drink. Cows need water to make milk. They're far from the most intelligent animals, but Toots is one cow who, it can be said, really uses her head. Shining shoes is no problem for apes, the smartest of animals who quickly learn to work and to be paid for it. This chimpanzee is obviously up to something. And this cat knows it. And he knows she knows. Into the jam. But here's the boss. This chimp shows he knows right from wrong, and this isn't right. And so off for the cleanup, demonstrating that even in the animal world, crime does not pay. Her turn comes next. It looks like revenge, but the cat will be all right, a little wiser and cleaner, although cats are perfectly able to clean themselves. Scientists say the behavior of chimpanzees, members of the ape family, is determined by learning and experience. He's had his experience, and the cat is having hers. Whoops, someone's coming. They aren't waiting to see who, and neither are we.
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, the big fat hen. Gee, I wish I had someone to play with. Woo! Ha ha, you can't catch me. Come on, let's play tag. Well, well, it's Mrs. Kookaburra Bird. Come on, let's play, let's play. Oh, boy, leapfrog, leapfrog. Okay, fellas, now you leap over me. Well, somewhere there must be someone who wants a big old, sweet, lovable playmate. Nobody has any interest in me at all. Oh, I'm just sick. Sick, 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 sick. Why, it's some little playmates from Birdland. How about a game of hide and seek, huh? I'll be it. I'll be it. 5, 10, 50, 20. Oh, this is fun. 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Ready or not, here I come. I spy. Oh, gee, fellas, you made it too easy. What do we play now, huh? Oh, boy, blind man's buff. Not too tight, you'll cut off my circulation. Am I getting warm, fellas? Huh, fellas? Am I getting warm? No fair hiding in the canyon, fellas. Hey, fellas, come out, wherever you are. I'll save you, playmates. Whee! I'm so buoyant I could float forever. What's next, fellas? Oh, a dart game. Oh boy, tug of war, tug of war. Such strength! They're small, but they're wiry. You fellas, where are you? Are we playing hide and seek again? This is fun, fellas. What's this game called? I smell smoke. I hope there's not a forest fire. Oh, that tickles. Fun, fellas. Now let's play something rough and tumble. Let's play catch. Ah! Playmates, don't go away. We're having so much fun. Playmates! They were the nicest little friends I ever had. No one wants to play with sweet old lovable Sydney.
It's not always easy to work together, is it? But it's one of the most important things you have to learn, starting in kindergarten and all through school, then all through life. These boys and girls are learning to share the table, crayons, and other supplies. What are some of the things you learn to share with others? How about encyclopedias and dictionaries? Do you take the same care of them as you would if they were your own? And don't we all share the classroom? Shouldn't we help take care of it?
Jim failed a few tests in high school after he started drinking, but he never failed a test as serious as this one. Jim went to jail with plenty of time to think.
There are some things you don't share with others. In this first grade class, each pupil has his own desk. In other schools, it might be a locker or a shelf. Their teacher, Mrs. Rule, tells them it's like having their own houses. Each desk is private property. Having some things of your own is called a right. How about when you're standing in line? Don't you have a right to your own place in line without having someone sneak in ahead of you? The better you learn to carry out responsibilities, the more rights you earn. Would you like to have a pet in your classroom? It took all the pupils of this class a long time to prove to their teacher that they would take good care of a pet. In school, just as when you're a grown-up, you get out of any job only as much as you put into it. Having a pet is lots of fun, isn't it? But it's also a big responsibility.
Now make sure you look very carefully.
Can you guess what Leslie is doing?
You've probably never seen any bacteria under a microscope before, have you?
No, I haven't.
Well, let's take a look at some, shall we?
Okay.
But first, we'll have to get some bacteria out of your mouth. Miss Taylor, may I have a slide, please? Now we'll have to scrape just a little. You'll hardly feel this. Miss Taylor, will you stain this, please? Staining the bacteria takes a few minutes. While we're waiting, do you have any questions you would like to ask about the care of teeth?
This is the story of how our class discovered how to listen. It began one day when we were playing a game, a listening game. We were going to try to identify different sounds on the record. Would you like to try it with us? Listen.
It's a train.
Is this what you thought of when you heard the sound? Well, that's what Jerry saw. Let's go on to the next sound. Ready?
That's a car.
Yes, a car. But why was Jerry always first to catch the sounds? Did Jerry think listening was important? Yes, he did. Why, just the other day, Jerry learned how to hold a hammer the right way by listening carefully to what his father told him. And on the way to school, listening is important too. Sounds can tell you that the streets are slippery and you have to be extra careful. by listening, Jerry found all sorts of interesting things he might have missed. He found birds. He noticed friends because he listened. Yes, Jerry thinks listening is very important. But how does he listen? How can all of us listen? We decided to try an experiment to find out how to listen. Betty offered to try first. She was going to do this. She was going to listen to the next sound from the record player and also think about how she listens. And this is the way Betty listens.
What you know, Joe?
Tell me something.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't conniving, I ain't jiving, I don't know.
What you know, Joe?
I don't know Latin.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't high-hatting.
What you know, Joe?
I ain't fooling, I need schooling, I don't know. I don't know. Mama never told me so. Papa wouldn't let me go. Couldn't even see a movie show.
What you know, Joe?
I'm just like the bear.
What you know, Joe?
I ain't nowhere.
What you know, Joe?
Quit your squawking. I ain't talking. I don't know.
What's the matter, Butch?
Oh, I feel like the fox.
What you mean, Butch?
Man, I'm beat to my socks.
Well, look, isn't there something we can do to get you back in the groove?
Well, start the band jumping, man. You'll see me move. Well, the way I feel now, it's another day. I feel happy again, so I'll be on my way. The boys are really swinging, and that ain't no jive. From now on, we're pals. Larry, give me 5.
She couldn't identify the sound on the record. Now, how had she listened?
I listened to everything, and I just got confused. I tried to soak it all in, like a sponge.
Yes, listening like a sponge. But is it a good way to listen? Though you soak up everything, when you try to think about it, it is still confused.
In December 1954, the 2,000-ton sled has its speed stepped up again as the rockets are fixed in place. This time, 9. Once more, Colonel Stapp will use his own body to learn if pilots can survive the shock of parachuting out of planes at supersonic speeds. 4 strong nylon belts lash him to the seat for the never-before-attempted ride. His helmet is firmly fastened so that the fiercely screaming wind will not break his neck. Leaping down the rails, the sled hurtles Colonel Stapp along at 632 miles an hour, faster than any man has traveled on land. After the shattering stop, assistants sprint toward the momentarily stunned colonel, who, except for 2 black eyes, survives his latest experiment. risking his life so others might live. A present-day hero of science, Colonel John Paul Stapp.
One of my best pupils is Roger. He's not the brightest boy in the class, but he's developed some excellent study methods. Watch how he goes about his reading assignment. First, he gets all the materials together on his desk. Then he carefully checks the exact assignment. This one is part of a chapter in our science text. He's probably thinking about the purpose of the assignment. I imagine that he'll go after the major ideas. Yes, see, he's skimming through the chapter. Reading rapidly, getting an overview of the material, and picking out key thoughts.
I didn't. Not long enough to guess the sound anyway. Let me try again. I'll bet I can stick with one sound. That's an airplane.
Yes, Bill can keep on listening to the important sound by trying. Can you? And then I noticed Sally. She didn't seem to be playing our game. Would she try? But even before I started the record, I could see that Sally's thoughts were far away again. She didn't seem to hear the record at all. Thinking about other things kept her from listening. Sally didn't guess the sound. She really hadn't even heard the sound.
It wasn't long enough. I guess I was thinking about something else. I pulled myself in like a turtle, and I didn't listen.
Like a turtle. But is that a good way to listen? Doesn't a turtle miss a lot?
Well, I think you shouldn't listen like a turtle. I think I can keep myself from thinking about other things if I tried. May I hear that record again?
What could be more exciting than Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon? Bruce Lee in Return of the Dragon. Bruce Lee is back in the all-new fantastic adventures of the superhero he created in Enter the Dragon. Against the dragon, even the best are better off dead. Bruce Lee gives his last and best performance in Return of the Dragon, rated R. Mamma mia! Boy, can we use him now.
Well, those were the suggestions we worked out. Then we were ready to try them out in listening to a story. Would they help us understand the story better? Will they help you? Why don't you try them with us as we hear the story?
His new system had paid off. Tests play an important part in your education. They help you to fix what you learn, and they help your teacher to know how well you have learned. They help her to know how well her teaching gets across. And learning how to prepare for and take tests not only helps you learn, but also ensures that what you put down on a test is a fair and accurate indication of what you know and can do.